This here is a Kodak prepaid.
Evel Knievel sold separately.
From those built-in flash people.
Some of the children get tore at by the people. Get your haircut.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the 70s. I've been lucky enough to have had some film sent to me from 1978, kindly sent to me by Dave Nash on Instagram. I'll read you the message that he sent me. He said, if you really want an expired film challenge, I've got a roll of Tri-X from the 1970s, I believe, and some FP4 that expired in 1978. If you're interested, the Tri-X isn't even in any sort of packaging, as you can see there, so I've no idea what it will be like, but the FP4 is still in its original box. And of course, I bit his hand off for it. I said, yeah, that'll be fun, send it over, Dave, and I'll put it out for you guys to see. And for those of you that didn't experience the 70s, I was only a kid back then, and I can just remember running right across the estate we lived on and playing on my skateboard and the few toys that we had, the Evel Knievel, remember that, the clackers. And I didn't have a chopper bike, but some of my mates did. We managed to get 5 on a chopper once going downhill, and we all fell off. There was no health and safety back then. There was no one wearing helmets. We could roll around in the mud. Our parents would kick us out all day, don't come back till it's dark and all that stuff. And if your dinner was ready, your mum would be shouting across your name across the estate. Yeah, great times. Some good music too. We had ABBA, T-Rex sitting there. I've got a Gilbert O'Sullivan LP and Let's Do It Again LP there, and White Axton. I liked his stuff. I think that was the 70s. Terry Wogan, he was doing the floral dance as well, whatever that was all about. And we had some creepy shows as well on TV. But let's get back onto this film. I'm going to be shooting the Ilford FP4 in the Mamiya RZ67, or as you guys say in the States, RZ67 or RZ67, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to put the Kodak Tri-X into my Franka Solida camera. So I'm going to be taking 2 cameras out on my own, as well as a GoPro for you guys to see what I'm up to. So that's going to be fun. I'll probably fall in a river. I'm going to have to try and play this expired film. Christ, man, 1978, what's that? 40 years ago, 40 odd years ago. So 1 stop for every decade, they reckon. So I'm going to have to overexpose by 4 stops, do some metering. But, you know, it's there for me to play with. And if it fails, it fails. If it doesn't, great, I'll manage to make some prints. If you watch my last video, where I was shooting some old Russian film from the 1980s. That didn't come out, it came out all fogged, and I couldn't quite understand why that happened, because I've shot expired film before and never seen that. And someone said, well, that's kind of natural what happens with expired film over time. But I'd never seen it before, so hopefully this stuff's a little bit better. The Ilford and the Kodak, it might have held up better, but it depends how well it's been stored over the years. And it's interesting to see a packaging design as well from the 1970s with the Ilford film, and also with the Kodak as well. This smells a bit like a Cortina, Ford Cortina GT, and the Kodak starts to smell a bit like my Kryptonic wheels on my skateboard, that rubbery smell, you know, Kryptonics. Remember them? Let's get on. Someone said in the comments the other day, one of my videos, what are you listening to on your earphones? Didn't know people were interested in that. If you're interested in, I'm listening to Elton John from the 70s. Hey Google, play Saturday Night Fever. I'm on my 15th shot. Took 14 shots. I've got one left in the can, or in the camera, and then I'll go back and shoot that Tri-X in the Franka Solida. I'm going to do that around home and see what we get. So I think I've done everything right. I've meted everything right, allowed for that 4 stop, so hopefully this FP4 is going to come out all right, but you never know. It's old film. Yeah, see you in a bit. So I don't know what that was about, but in Back to the Future 2, the Doc Brown said to Marty McFly about Biff having a few short circuits in his bionic implants. I think I'm pretty much getting there. But anyway, yeah, I had some fun shooting that film. I didn't put in the video of me shooting the Franka Solida. I was a bit knackered, to be honest, after carrying the Mamiya around for quite some time. And it was a hot day, so I just went out and shot without showing you guys the Franka Solida with the Kodak film. But when I started to develop the film, I'll just show you, I loaded both films into the tanks, and this is the Kodak Tri-X, the backing paper for it. It's yellow, very different to what it is now, not colour, but the way it's all laid out. And I did notice the little sticky tape there. I couldn't get it off at all, couldn't pull it off nice and easily. It started to rip the backing paper. But it all feels in good condition, you know, it just feels like it's still just come out of the factory. And the Ilford as well, that's the backing paper there for the Ilford. We've got green on this one, and then it goes into yellow. Still pretty much similar, except the Ilford is white now. Still the same sort of stuff. And again, this is the sticky stuff. Took a bit of time to get off the negative. It actually ripped the backing paper again. But you know, it doesn't feel brittle or like it's just going to crack. It feels like it just feels new, you know. And these are the negatives. So what I did, I put these in a stand development, you know. I kind of bottled it and thought, I'm just going to play it safe, stick it in stand development and see what happens. When I developed the negatives, it appears that I had overexposed them. And not only that, I put them in stand development, so they come out really really contrasty and tricky to print in the darkroom. It's all there, the information's there. I think I may have overexposed by maybe 1 or 2 stops, but it still gave me real contrasty negatives to work on in the darkroom. And I made a few prints, only small ones, and again, these were quite tricky to print on the enlarger. I just found I couldn't get, this was a grade 0, trying to pull the contrast out of it, and I couldn't pull the contrast out even with a filter, so I had to end up doing some pre-flash tests and doing some pre-flashing on the paper just to pull the inertia down, lower the contrast so I could get some more information in the prints. And I managed to do that. You can see these two here. This is without the pre-flash, and this is with the pre-flash, so it certainly worked in my favour this time round in the darkroom to get half decent looking prints, and they ain't come out too bad. So the Kodak Tri-X seems to not have been stored as well as the FP4 over the years. It's come out a little bit foggy, you know, quite hard to see the image through it, but still I managed to get a print out of it. And this is with no filters at all, and this is just an umbrella in the garden, a sun umbrella, you know. And I did notice that it was, they actually don't look that bad, but I did notice there's bags of grain in there, and these are small prints, so if I blew these up even bigger, you know, I think the grain would really pop out on these images, especially if I was going to end up going 10 by 10 inch or something like that. So expired film, it's not for everybody. It's only the fact that, you know, people send me expired film to try out, and I'll have a go and see what happens. It can be quite fun. Sometimes it could be a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. You know, you're not expecting to get great results with expired film, and if you do get good results, then that's a bonus, as I've shown before on my channel. But it's certainly interesting to see and try and photograph, develop and print films from the 1970s. I haven't gone that far before. I've only gone as far as the 80s. So, you know, and also looking at the packaging and the backing papers and stuff, and the smells as well. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video. A little bit of fun and games in there. You've got to enjoy yourself, and your life's too short. I'll catch you next time.